Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Clari here. We've got a really exciting video this week. I wanted to go through all the Wonderfest 2022 summer announcements because there's been some really good stuff that came out. And I was also thinking maybe we could talk about some of the ones I feel quite disappointed about because there were a couple of those too. So I've made myself a trusty spreadsheet, which I'm actually going to include a link below. So if you want, you're welcome to go through this with me and find links to all the stuff I talk about. There'll also be links in the description below if you want to go through some of the announcements in your own time. First off, we have a Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai figure, which has been an art illustration announced of Mai Sakurajima. And we don't know the scale yet, but it's a CA Works figure. And it's her in kind of a traditional wear. They call it the Hanfu version. And this figure looks amazing. Like, I'm actually really excited for this. She's got a beautiful umbrella. So I don't really know much about CA Works, but if they can do a good job of this figure, then they're definitely one to look out for the future. Moving on, we have a really cute figure of Sonoko in a Konosuba Megumin outfit, and this is being done by Katie Cole. I just love this figure. I think it's just fun, it's playful, it's everything that is Super Sonoko. And so I'm really excited to see this one progress. Next up, we have a 1/8 scale Nezuko figure being announced by Aniplex. And I think this is the second Nezuko figure by Aniplex. There's one of her from the anime manga cover illustration that is kind of her more in her demon child state, whereas this is her in her demon adult state. And I think the two figures would look really good together, but I do think this figure is going to hopefully look really nice. There seems to be some really nice detailing on the figure. We have another Revolve Evangelion figure announced, which if any of you guys have seen the Asuka Langley Revolve figure, oh, she looks so good. So I'm really excited for this. It's a Rei figure and it hasn't been announced what scale it is, but it looks like it's going to be a beach version of Rei, which could be really exciting, so I'm definitely looking out for this. And then we have a Jujutsu Kaisen announcement from Spiritel, and that is of the main trio. So the one I'm really excited for is Kujisaki Nobara, because Nobara just doesn't seem to get the same love as the boys. Wings Inc. have also announced an original character by the artist Suave. And there is a previous Samurai Girl that has been designed by this artist, which has been released by Wings Inc., which looks absolutely fantastic. So I really am excited for this Sui figure. Next up, we have a really interesting announcement by Prime One Studio, and that is of a Eurocamp figure of Nadeshiko and Rin. I'm super excited for this because there is an existing Ring figure which has been made by Ulta, but it's a 1/10 scale figure, so it's quite small. And its aftermarket is just ridiculously expensive. So I'm really happy that there's finally a Rin and Nadeshiko pairing figure coming out. My only concern at the moment is I'm a bit worried about their faces look a bit derby, but it is a grayscale render. So I'm hoping when we actually see a 3D model, grayscale model of it, it should hopefully be fixed. Wave have really knocked it out of the park recently. They did a pink ballerina figure and it just looked absolutely fantastic. Its aftermarket has just gone absolutely crazy. And I know recently they did a second release of their pre-orders. Well, if you missed that and you're unable to afford her aftermarket, have no fear, we have another Swan Girl ballerina coming out. This one's called Avian Romance Pink Label 5, and her name is Black Swan Girl. She's a 1/7 scale figure by Wave, and I think she'll really look good with the pink ballerina, but even the black ballerina by herself I think looks really fantastic. So this one should be really exciting when we see the grayscale. We've got two figures which have been announced by Kaiten Do, which is a company I've never heard of before. So I'm a little reserved on really pushing these figures because I just want to see what their quality's like first. And the first one is an Overlord figure of Sholtir that just looks fantastic. It's her in her lustrous New Year's greeting version. And she just looks great. The colors look really fantastic. It really looks like Sholtir. So if they can deliver on this, yeah, that'll be a really good figure. The other figure they've announced is a Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid figure of Kana Kamui, and it's a 1/6 scale figure, so it's quite a big figure because she's quite small. So that will look really good, and I'm so excited for this. She looks really cute, and there's not enough Miss Kobayashi's figures out there, so yes. Moving on to some Greyscale figures. Kaisen Do again have released another figure, and this is an original character. It's a bunny figure called Naya, and the art's by an artist called Meijo. We don't yet know what the scale of this figure is. It looks like a 1/6 scale figure, but we'll see. And this bunny just looks really good. Like, I just think she looks amazing. Her concept art looks really good. Her sculpt is looking really promising so far. And she just really caught my attention, so I wanted to talk about her. There were so many Azzy Elaine figures, so I had to really limit the ones I talked about. But this one by Wanderer really needed talked about. And this was a Unicorn Prayer of Plum and Snow version figure. And the sculpt on this looks absolutely amazing. Like, the details on it are so cool. So I really want to see this one painted. I think that paint's really going to bring this to life. We have some Hobby Max Japan figures. I'll start with the Bungo Stray Dogs figure of Osamu Dazai. I think that's how you say his name, Desi? I'm not really sure. But this figure looks absolutely cool, like so cool. And he has like amazing base. So I really think this is going to be a showstopper figure, and it's a 1/7. Yes, we get a 1/7 male figure, so I'm really happy about that. I have 4 prize figures that really stood out to me, and 2 of those are Spy Family figures, so I'll talk about those first. One is an Anya Forger figure, and one is a Spy Family figure of Lloyd Forger, and they're both by Sega. And the one of Anya just looks really cute. And the Lloyd figure, they've nailed his face. Like, there's actually been a scale released of Lloyd recently, and his face looks really derby. I actually think this prize figure has a much better face sculpt than that. So I'm pushing the knitwear Lloyd casual home look. He looks really cool. We also have some Tokyo Revenger prize figures by Sega. And we have one of Mikey and one of Tamachi. And the Mikey figure just looks so good of him cuddling his pillow. I don't know why, I just love this figure so much. I think it looks really, really good. I can't believe I'm going to say this is my most anticipated prize figure, but I actually think it is. There's a ReZero figure of Ren, and it's her in her Cherry Blossom version, but she just looks so cute. I love her Cherry Blossom dress. Now let's move on to the scales. Let's start with the Evangelion series. So the Radio Eva line, oh my gosh, by Hobby Max Japan, has just had a load of coloured prototypes released from their Radio Eva Part 2 series. And we have to talk about Mari. She looks so good in her coloured version. She's a 1/7 scale figure, but her pose is super dynamic, and I think this figure is looking really good. I'm so excited for this to go up for pre-order. And Shinji also looks equally good. He's not been painted yet, but he looks so cool. I really like his pose and how his coat flows. But we have to talk about the Radio Eva Part 3 series. Now overall, I don't think the Part 3 series looks as good as the Part 2 series. My main issue with it is I think Asuka looks a bit weird crouching on the floor. However, I think Rei looks really good, and I think Shinji from Part 3 looks really good too. Also, we have to talk about some Azulaine figures, and there's one of Zukaku. And it's Zukaku, if I pronounce that wrong, my apologies. I don't play Azulaine. So this is the Win's True Name version, and it's a 1/4 scale figure by Mimoyoi. Mimoyoi have done amazing figures. They're a Chinese manufacturer, and so far their Azulaine line looks so good. I think this figure looks absolutely amazing. Moving on, we have a figure by Neon Max, and it's a Miyang figure. Now, I don't really know much about this. The artists are Mr. Haiwan Jiangchao and Mr. Guana. It looks really, really good. So I just wanted to mention this figure. And then there's been a couple of My Hero Academia figures, but one of the big ones is the Spiritel figure, which has been painted. This figure looks really, really impressive. I would say it leans more on the statue end of the spectrum in terms of the design. I also really like how the Sonic and Shadow Sonic the Hedgehog figure turned out. I don't know, the colors just really pop and it's really crisp. So I really like this figure as well. I have to talk about okay, first we'll talk about Quest-Q figure, and that's the Maiden in the Abyss Bondrude figure. This is a 1/7 scale figure. I think it's actually up for pre-order now, so you can go check out its price on Ami. And this figure just looks amazing. I'll do my final not safe for work figure announcement. You can skip the timestamp if you don't want to see this. But this is a 1/7 wave scale figure of a cowgirl called Uzuki-chan. Basically, there are two cowgirls. One's actually already up for pre-order and she's really cute, but she's now got announced a little friend to go with her. So if you're into cowgirls, these two look really adorable and cute, and I think Wave will really deliver on them. All right, we're up to my top 5. I'm so excited to go through these with you. All right, we have to talk about Haru in the Evangelion Radio Eva Part 2 series. Just got painted. Oh my gosh, he looks so good. His checkered shirt, look, I love yellow. Yellow is like my all-time favorite color. He just looks so good. And I saw this and I just melted, and I have to have him. Moving on to number 4, we have an Alta figure, we have a Fate Grand Order figure, and of course we have a Lancer Gilgamesh figure. Do you know what I love about this Wonderfest is that the boys are getting the love that they deserve. This figure, if only they'd given him nipples. Why do anime figures rob us of the nips? I don't get why they do this, but other than the fact he has no nips, he looks amazing. Like, oh, the sculpt work, the chain. He got narrowly beaten by an Alta figure of Giyu from Demon Slayer. I just think this figure looks amazing. It's a 1/8 scale figure, whereas the Lancer figure is a 1/7 scale figure. But Giyu looks so good. His outfit, Alta do such a crisp sculpt. I know they're gonna do well. And I love that his base isn't too busy. It's just a little bit of wave movement. It just, it looks so crisp. In space number 2, we have another Alta figure, and this is an Arknights figure of Schwartz. And it's a 1/7 scale figure. I mean, look at this figure. She is beautiful. Like, how have they done such a good job on this figure? The sculpt work is amazing. The details on her clothing, her face, everything is just perfection. She looks so good. Moving on to number 1 is actually an unexpected announcement. It's a Black Lagoon figure announcement for Revi of her in her kind of like traditional clothing, and it's a 1/7 scale figure by Broccoli. I didn't even know Broccoli was still in business, to be honest. This figure looks like it's gonna turn out so good, and I cannot wait to see this for Greyscale. We're on to the name and shame part of the evening. So yeah, let's spread the dirt on the figures that I was really disappointed by. CA works on one of the ones I'm most anticipating. It also made the name and shame list for its prize figure of Bunny Girl Senpai Mai Sakurajima. I don't know what they did to her leg sculpt, but her legs look like weird sausages to me. Next up, we have an Overlord figure, a 1/7 scale figure by Katie Cole. This is an Overlord Albedo and Shaltir Bride version figure. I hate the base, it's way too big, completely unnecessary as well. The graphic on it is, I personally think, really ugly. And also their faces, I get it kind of works with Shaltir and Albedo, but it honestly just makes me feel a bit uncomfortable looking at it. I'm also gonna vent about the Spiritel Demon Slayer figures of Muzan. I don't know, I feel like I just give up on Muzan as a figure. Like, he often just looks like Michael Jackson, and it creeps me out a bit, especially because this is his woman version. Next on the firing squad is Shibura Scramble, have in collaboration with Eastream released the Jujutsu Kaisen series. And the figure of Toge just looks so derby. His face looks really weird. I can't even put my finger on what exactly it is about his face that looks weird. I'm even more disappointed by Nanami Kento, because Nanami had like a really good sculpt, but his weird sword like effect piece looks so bad. It looks like something that came out of like an arts and crafts kids like art project. There's been a series by Spiritel of ReZero figures of Rem, Ram and Amelia holding their childhood selves. Why would they be holding their childhood self? Doesn't make sense to me. Not feeling excited for it. Spiritel have also disappointed me because they have not painted the Overlord Albedo ending version figure, which has art by Sobin. Like, I really think this figure looks fantastic and I just want to see it painted. We're getting down to my last two announcements that I was disappointed with, and this is really rubbing salt into the wound. It's the Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid Toru figure. What have they done to her boobs? Like, seriously, her boobs are huge. Her boobs are not this big in the anime. And I'm so disappointed because there's so few good Miss Kobayashi figures, especially of Toru. And this one looks so bad. It could have been so good, and it's just not. Like, can we just have Ulta do the Miss Kobayashi series, please? I want some good figures. I'm so done with the FOTS figures. The one that creeps me out the most of all the figure announcements, and that is a Katie Cole figure. So congratulations, Katie Cole, you are the biggest disappointment of them all. And that is because you released a Sword Art Online figure of Asuna in her negligee outfit. What the hell have you done to her face? They have just put her eyes in the weirdest location. It doesn't even look like Asuna. I am horrified that this exists. This is the thing of nightmares. I really hope you enjoyed my top 5, or my scale announcements, the prizes, the disappointments. Oh gosh, some of them still make me feel salty, but overall it's been a very varied, exciting Wonderfest. So yeah, let me know in the comments below which were your most anticipated and most disappointing announcements, because I'd love to hear you guys vent. I know we all love a good bitch. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Bye everyone.